Today, the Holocaust is viewed as one of the worst events to ever happen in human history. It was the mass murder of over 6 million innocent people. But to the people of Germany at the time, the Third Reich was the birth of something amazing. It was Adolf Hitler's idea to rid the world of diseases that he thought the Jews to be. He wanted to create a greater Germany after the humiliation of losing World War I and being forced to follow the orders of the Treaty of Versailles. To do this, Adolf Hitler worked to create the perfect generation of pure Aryan children. He believed that the future of the fatherland was completely reliant on the children.
To breed the next generation of Germany, Hitler put Heinrich Himmler in charge of the Lebensborn project. Lebensborn means fount of life. This project was the start of breeding Aryan children with Nazi blood. There were at least 20 camps where children would be bred in Germany, Austria, Norway, and other neighbors to Germany. In these camps, there were around 21,000 kids bred.
Heinrich Himmler directly gave orders to high-ranking SS officers to go and find a beautiful Aryan woman that fit the needs to the program. They would need to be tall, blonde, have a sharp jawline, and have blue eyes. He would be instructed to mate with her, then help get her to one of the clinics, or Lebensborn camps. After he did that, he was instructed to do so again. The children created in this process often never met their father.
In the 1920s, Hitler founded the National Socialist Youth League, or Hitler Youth Group. The Hitler Youth Program was founded to create a strong and disciplined next generation for Germany. The weak must be chiseled away. I want young men and women who can suffer pain. A young German must be swift as a greyhound, tough as leather, and hard as Krupp steel.
It sounds like the Hitler Youth Program was very undesirable, but some of the actual activities seem like they would be very entertaining. A day in the Hitler Youth might actually be similar to one in the Boy Scouts of America. They would explore in the woods, go kayaking, go swimming, and just play sports together. The main difference was that in the background, the children in Hitler Youth were being taught to fight for their country. That's not that bad, but they were told that the only purpose for them on this earth was for Germany. From day one, the children within the program were told to follow one motto: you must live and be willing to die for the flag.
From the 1920s onwards, the Nazi Party targeted youth with special audience for its propaganda messages. These messages emphasized that the party was a movement of youth, dynamic, resilient, forward-looking, and hopeful. Hitler said, "He alone who owns the youth gains the future." Millions of German young people were won over to Nazism in the classroom and through extracurricular activities. In January 1933, the Hitler Youth had only 50,000 members, but by the end of this year, this figure had increased to more than 2 million. By 1936, membership in the Hitler Youth increased to 5.4 million before it became mandatory in 1939. The German authorities then prohibited or dissolved competing youth organizations.
The entire point of the Hitler Youth Program was to create an invincible Germany. That meant that it was a requirement for boys to enlist in the army once they reached a certain age. As a result, more than 90% of Germany's army had been training and taught to follow the flag since they were children. Alphonse Hack, former member of the Hitler Youth Program, said, "We were Hitler's purest creation, unencumbered by the ballast of a non-Nazi past, only beholden to him." Because it was the only thing that the children had ever known, they fully embraced war and everything that the Nazis stood for. Hitler taught them what to believe when they were young, and once they grew up, he didn't have to enforce them because they took the Third Reich into their own hands. They would jump at any opportunity to follow Hitler's orders. In the end, once the war was over and the Hitler Youth children were all grown up, a lot of them actually accepted that they had done extremely terrible things and admitted that they weren't even aware of what they were doing until it was over.
That the Nazi state was built on lies.
Some Nazis ended up serving for the US in the Vietnam War. The book I Have Lived 1,000 Years relates to the Hitler Youth because it shows the result of what most kids in Germany thought to be good. The kids of Germany were just doing what they thought was right, but it turned into the horrors that are displayed in I Have Lived 1,000 Years. The book, A Separate Piece, is about two boys who have troubles with losing and trying to regain their innocence. This is similar to the Nazis that accepted they had done wrong. When in Hitler Youth, they were innocent to the fact that what they believed in was wrong. After the war, they lost their innocence and had to face the atrocities that they had committed. Hitler Youth also has a strong connection to the boy in striped pajamas. Bruno is similar to the Hitler Youth children in the sense that he was oblivious to the bad that was happening in the concentration camps. Obviously, the Hitler Youth weren't oblivious to what they were being brought up to do, but they were oblivious to the fact that it went against all human morals. Most of them didn't realize it was bad until after the fact, and some of them never even did. The book Night can also relate to Hitler Youth. It is about a boy and his father who struggles to keep his humanity while in a concentration camp. Within the book, there are instances of Jewish people losing their humanity and having racial prejudice. That shows that what happened to the children in the Hitler Youth program could have really happened to anybody. It showed that if taught something, or if in the right circumstances, anybody could do anything, good or bad. Famous studies done to learn about conformity also have strong correlations to the Holocaust, specifically Hitler Youth. Phillips and Bardo's prison experiment showed that if told to follow a role, people are able to completely lose their personality and do things that they would never have done before. That is very similar to the children in Hitler Youth. A very small percent of them were actually bad people, but the way that they were ordered made them take up a role, whether it was what they believed or not. Solomon Asch conducted an experiment that showed how people will go against common knowledge if everybody else does something different than them. Like mentioned earlier, the children in Hitler Youth were not all bad people, but all it takes is for a couple people to start following someone, and people will start wanting to be a part of them and join a group. Jane Elliott did an experiment on her students that showed how easy it is for us to have prejudice against other people for no reason at all. Her students began to not like each other just because someone told them that they were superior. That is exactly what happened to the Hitler Youth children. Hitler believed and told them that they were superior to Jewish people, and they believed him and went against them. Stanley Milgram conducted an experiment that showed how people are capable of doing terrible things if just given orders from someone who seems important. The Hitler Youth children were just following orders, but the Milgram experiment showed that just following orders can cause people to extremely hurt or even kill others, like shown in the Holocaust. Our essential question is, how is resilience crucial for success? The children in Hitler Youth are a good example of what not to do. A form of resilience could be believing in something and then realizing that you are wrong and choosing to follow the right thing. The children did not do that, and today we obviously know that the Hitler Youth program and the Holocaust was not a success. The Hitler Youth program was Adolf Hitler's plan to create a strong and pure next generation. These kids that were trained to be Nazis are looked at as terrible people in history, but most of them were just regular people who were following terrible orders. This shows that you have to be resilient and follow what you truly believe. You can't just conform to what's normal if it goes against what you actually want.